So today we're going to do a cedar plank salmon on a regular Weber grill. We're going to start off here with these cedar planks. You can get them at any of your stores, but you're probably going to save a lot more money if you get them from Sam's Club. I think I got about 15 of these for about between $13 and $20. I don't remember which one. But basically what it is, it's just a piece of wood right here. And what we're going to do, we're going to soak this wood for 3 or 4 hours or however long you got. Water is going to get the moisture into this wood so that when you put it on the grill, it's not going to burn up. Also, it's going to facilitate that smoke getting into your fish. As far as my fish goes, right now I have this Atlantic salmon bag from Sam's Club, and they got some fillets in here. Here's an example of one of them. They're individually packaged, but you can get whatever you want. These happen to be skinless fillets, so it doesn't really matter how you cook them. If you have fillets that have skin on them, I recommend you put the skin side down when you're cooking. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to open this up, and we're going to do our famous kosher salt. So I got kosher salt right here. That's going to go ahead and get into the meat, make it nice and moist, and I'm going to draw that moisture out. What I've done, I've just poured this big thing of kosher salt into this smaller container just to make it easier to sprinkle on. So once you get it out your package, do whatever you normally do with it. If you're going to rinse it or not rinse it or whatever you're going to do, pat it dry. Go ahead and put that kosher salt on there, and you're going to put it in the refrigerator for a couple hours. After we do that, we're going to come back, coat it with some type of oil, like olive oil or vegetable oil, whatever you want to use, and then we'll season it however you want to season it. The way we're going to season this today, we're going to do an Old Bay seasoning. So I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle some Old Bay on it, get some dill weed, a little bit of lemon juice, and we'll go ahead and put it back in the refrigerator and get ready to go. So I'm finishing up patting dry my salmon, and I'm going to go ahead and put that kosher salt on there. So it's a decent amount on there, about the same as what you would do for your briskets or pulled pork or ribs or whatever we're going to do. Go ahead and flip it over and get some on the other side. What we're going to do here, we're going to set this in the refrigerator for a couple hours and bring it back out, do our regular seasoning. So it's a couple hours before it's time to put this meat on. So I'm going to go ahead and coat this meat with oil. Right now I got some Pam, extra virgin olive oil. So I'll just go ahead and spray some on there. You do that so you can get your rub or your seasonings to stick. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just sprinkle some of this Old Bay. I know some people don't like Old Bay, but like I say, you can season it however you want to. Then I got some dill weed. Then I got a little bit of this lemon juice right here. Some other recipes you can do like some pepper, some garlic powder, maybe some onion powder, and some of that dill weed. That might be a little more healthy with it. And then some people like a little sweet type seasoning, mixture like maybe some honey and some other stuff, whatever. But anyway, season this however you want. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put this back in the refrigerator, let it sit, let them seasonings soak in. We're gonna get the temp. Since I'm using a Weber, I'm not necessarily gonna be measuring my temperature. So just as a preview, I'm gonna just put some coals in there, get it real hot. We're gonna get that cedar plank on there, put the fish on, and we're gonna run this up to 100. We're gonna get the temperature of the meat. We need it to be 145 degrees. At least, you know, that's my recommendation, because I always like my stuff safe to eat. Some people may do it a lot lower, but my goal temperature is going to be 145 in the center of the meat, and we may pull it just a little bit sooner, maybe 142, 143, and let it continue cooking as we get it off. You don't want it to overcook, so but we'll talk about that when we get back. Alright, so as I said earlier, we're going to go ahead and do this on a regular old Weber grill, just to prove that anyone can do this type of cook. Since it's been a while since I've cooked on a Weber, I didn't have enough briquettes. So what I did, I put all my briquettes in there, and I've added some of my lump charcoal that I usually use for my ceramic grill. The lump charcoal is going to be more efficient anyway, but I needed to get rid of these briquettes, so there we go. Again, we're not going to use lighter fluid. In a couple of my previous videos, I talked about a method of lighting up the coals by using some vegetable oil soaked in a paper towel. But today I'm going to go a little easier, a little less mess than that. I'm going to use these Tumbleweeds fire starters. It's like kind of a wood slash wax or whatever it is thing. Kind of burns like a candle. And basically you get one of these and you put it in, you light it up, and then it's going to go slow enough so it'll ignite all the coals. So basically I don't have a temperature gauge in here, so we just going to light this and let it get real hot. Then we'll be ready to cook. Alright, so it's about to light up now. I'll go ahead and close that up, and then we'll let it sit for however many minutes. Let them coals get nice and hot on fire, and we'll be ready to go. Alright, now as we get the fire heated up and ready, we're going to get our food ready. So I just got my cedar plank out of the water. It's been soaking all this time, and even though it's water on it, I'm still going to go ahead and put some olive oil on one side of these, and I'm going to go ahead and put the salmon on it. This is the salmon. It's been sitting there with seasoning on it for the last couple hours or so. So generally sometimes 2.5 or 3 of the salmon fillets that are in that Sam's Club package will fit on this plank. So I'll go ahead and just set them on the plank. Here we go, right here, and then the other side I can actually turn it like this, or I can do it like this. Either way, for some reason a little piece came off, so I'll probably just go ahead and throw it on there and just pull it before everything else. It's just a little bitty piece. Basically, I'm using a Weber, so I don't have a temperature in mind with this fire. I'm just letting it get really hot, and I'm going to put the wood right over the fire, right over the coals. So instead of going indirect with it, I'm gonna go right over the coals, but this plank is actually going to make it indirect. Also, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put a thermometer in the salmon. If you see, actually this one closer to me is a little thinner. I don't know if you can tell, it's a little bit thinner. So that one's going to get done first. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put thermometer in the thickest part of the thinner one and see when it gets to temperature. Also going to probe with my temperature probe with some of these other pieces. So I'm probably going to be pulling this first one off quicker. If they're generally the same size, I'll pull them both at the same time, but this one is thinner, so I don't want it to overcook. So when that one's done, I'm probably going to go ahead and pull it off and then wait for this last piece to get done. And it should be probably a couple more minutes difference. So a couple minutes could be the difference between a nice and a dry salmon. Alright, so I got this fire hot. I just put the cedar plank on there, and I got a thermometer probe in there, and I'm just gonna go ahead and just let it wait till we get to near that 145 degree mark. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to let it get to probably about 135 or so. Then I'm going to probe it manually just to make sure I got a good spot. See how everything's coming along, and then once we get over 140, it'll be time to probably pull that thinner one. Now I did put the thicker one closer to the fire somewhat, so it might even finish around the same time. But we'll be back shortly and see how it can turn out. At this point, since it's really hot, go ahead and turn these. I'm gonna go ahead and turn these vents down a little bit, and probably about halfway, and I'll close the bottom exhaust a little bit, and we'll just let it cook. Alright, so I pulled it off the grill, about 145 degrees internal. And I'm going to go ahead and grab one. Nice and flaky and juicy.